This past offseason, we saw a handful of NBA teams go out and make moves and attempt to make their team better to get a step closer to winning that NBA championship. Some of the more popular moves that we heard about over this offseason was the New York Knicks acquiring Mikal Bridges, and also later in the offseason going out and trading for Karl Anthony Towns. We also seen Paul George from the Los Angeles Clippers go to Philadelphia to link up with Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. And I do think those are some big time moves, and they were talked about all summer long. But one move that flew under everyone's radar was the Sacramento Kings getting a absolutely adding a walking bucket to already one of the best offenses in the NBA, and that player is DeMar DeRozan. And how the Sacramento Kings got DeMar DeRozan, they were involved in that 3-team deal that involved the Sacramento Kings, the Chicago Bulls, and the San Antonio Spurs. And I'm not sure if the Sacramento Kings had to give up draft capital, but they did give up Harrison Barnes, and they also gave up Chris Duarte, and in exchange they received DeMar DeRozan, and they signed him to a 3-year, $76 million deal. I think this is big time for the Sacramento Kings for a multitude of reasons. We look at it at the position, they are able to upgrade at that small forward position. I believe we can all come to an agreement that DeMar DeRozan is a much better basketball player than Harrison Barnes at this point in times in their career, so they upgrade at the position. And then also I think he's going to fit seamlessly with the Sacramento Kings. Now here we are, we're 4 games into the regular season. The Sacramento Kings are 2-2, but I believe these guys are still figuring each other out, and they've been putting up some points, and they've been looking really good and really fun to watch. But I think they're nowhere near the level of cohesiveness that they're going to reach once we get deeper into the NBA season. But back to DeMar DeRozan and why he's such a great pickup for the Sacramento Kings. For one, let's point out what the Sacramento Kings are really good at. They're really good at pushing tempo. They're really good at rebounding the basketball. They have one of the best rebounders in the NBA in Sabonis. He's one of the best passers as well. He's very skilled. So when he rebounds the basketball, he can start to break so fast by passing the basketball or by initiating the fast break himself and putting the ball on the floor. And then on the flip side of that, they have one of the fastest point guards in NBA history. I think he's the fastest player with the basketball in his hands in the NBA today, and that's De'Aaron Fox. So the Sacramento Kings, they've created one of the best offenses in the NBA by playing to their strengths, rebounding the basketball, getting out in transition, and then they surrounded nothing but shooters around these two guys, Kevin Huerter, Harrison Barnes before he got traded, Keegan Murray, Malik Monk, a bunch of three-point shooters around these guys. So playing up-tempo really suits the Sacramento Kings. But we know by the time May comes around, April, June, the game of basketball, it gets a lot slower. When you play playoff basketball, yes, you can push tempo at times, but there's going to be a lot of times where teams are keeping you. Teams are slowing down their pace, making it more of a slow-paced game because it's way harder to score in the NBA in the half court than it is in transition. So the playoffs gets a little bit slower, and the Sacramento Kings, it seems like during the playoff time, they're missing an additional piece. They're missing another guy that can go out, create his own bucket consistently, and do it in the half courts consistently. And what other player that's better suited than DeMar DeRozan? He has been one of the most underrated buckets in NBA history. I can't remember where he ranks on the all-time scoring list, but I know he scored a bucket not too long ago, and he moved up in the rankings, and he's pretty high on the all-time scoring list. So his entire career, he's been a steady scorer. And we look at him last season, he is showing no signs of slowing down. Last season with the Chicago Bulls, who did get to the play-in tournament, he averaged 24 points per game to go along with 4 rebounds and 5 assists. And he also almost won the Clutch Player of the Year award. He came in second place to Stephen Curry. So the Sacramento Kings, who already had one of the best closers in the NBA, De'Aaron Fox, I believe De'Aaron Fox won that award in the 2022-2023 NBA season, which was a great year for the Sacramento Kings and a great year for De'Aaron Fox. They were very fun to watch. So now the Sacramento Kings have given themselves two two guys that can close out games down the stretch. That's every team's dream. We look at some of the teams that won the championship the last few years. The Boston Celtics, they have multiple closers: Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, even Drew Holiday and Derek White. They have clutch moments. We look at the Denver Nuggets, who won the year before, Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray, two very good basketball players in the clutch. And now the Sacramento Kings, they have De'Aaron Fox, and they also have DeMar DeRozan, who do a great job of closing out games. So there you have that aspect. Now those are two ways that the Sacramento Kings immediately get better with DeMar DeRozan. He's an upgrade at the position, and he can close out games. And then we look at his skill set, and he's a great half-court scorer. He's going to be that guy that can slow the game down for the Sacramento Kings when they need to, when they need high-quality shots and high-quality half-court possessions. And DeMar DeRozan, he doesn't need too much to go and get a bucket. He really just needs an ISO, and he does a great job of working that mid-post area, that low post area, and that mid-range area. And we've seen him so far with the Sacramento Kings. He's been looking very good in all four games this season. He has already gotten up to 20 points, but he's so good in that mid-range area, and he can do so much more. He can operate in the pick and roll. I see him and Sabonis, they're doing the dribble handoff, and it's a little bit deeper in the court. So DeMar DeRozan is in that mid-range area where he's still comfortable. Watching DeMar DeRozan with the Sacramento Kings, he's creating a lot of gravity when he's in that low post area. Sometimes teams are trying to overload on him or show a crowd, and he's done a great job of kicking it out to shooters like Kevin Huerter, Keegan Murray, and these guys have been knocking down their three-point shots. So DeMar DeRozan, he doesn't take many three-point shots. It's not nothing really he's done in his NBA career, but he's been able to stack up so many points to where he's noticed on the all-time scoring list. So scoring the basketball is no problem with his playing style. So getting DeMar DeRozan, I think it is big time for the Sacramento Kings. And we look at what he's been added to. Like we said earlier in the video, the Sacramento Kings have been one of the best offenses in the NBA these last 2 years. The 2022-2023 season, I believe they averaged 120 plus points per game. So these guys know how to score the basketball. But watching the Kings so far this season, they don't look too different. I think the only thing they're really going to have to worry about is like down the stretch. We saw them play two close games against the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Los Angeles Lakers, to where they were really competitive with those guys going back and forth. Just they couldn't execute well enough down the stretch to close those games out. But I think as the season goes on, and once DeMar DeRozan and De'Aaron Fox find a better rhythm with each other to get in tune with each other down the stretch of ball games and how to play off one another, they're going to be able to win some ball games like that. But looking at the Sacramento Kings, their offense still looks very good. I'm still loving the spacing. Domantas Sabonis, he looks like he's really motivated this season. I know he felt like he should have been an all-star last season, so I think he's coming out this year playing like he has something to prove. He's already gotten a triple-double this season. We already know he's a walking double-double, so he's been looking really good, still doing a great job setting screens, doing the dribble handoff, and running the offense for the Sacramento Kings. Keegan Murray is one of my favorite players, and when the Sacramento Kings drafted him with the 4th overall pick, he was the perfect fit for what this team needs, because he does not need to dribble the basketball at all to score. Maybe 1 or 2 dribbles, but he is really effective with the basketball in his hands. He makes very quick decisions. If he's open, he's going to shoot the ball. So I love Keegan Murray, his fit with this offense. Same thing with Malik Monk. A little bit more stress taken off of his shoulders. He can focus on being more of a spark plug coming off the bench with the addition of DeMar DeRozan. Kevin Huerter, his three-point shot looks like it's coming back to him in full swing mode. So a lot of positive things for the Sacramento Kings as of right now. But I love this addition to DeMar DeRozan. Right now, as they're still figuring each other out, they still look like one of the better offenses in the NBA, and they're getting a lot of easy buckets. So that's what I wanted to talk about with you guys today. If you enjoyed, please leave a like, comment down below how you feel about the addition of DeMar DeRozan, and then subscribe for more weekly content. We do this all the time, man, and that's curtains.